Hi everyone. I wanted to tell you today about one of my favorite products, one of my favorite Shaklee products. And this is the one that I've discovered most recently. And it looks like this. And it's called Energy Chews. Now, this is something that I figured I didn't need. I have a lot of energy from all the other Shaklee products I take. I take basically all of them. And so I didn't try it. I thought, I don't really need that, but I had a little sample of them in my cupboard. And one day I was trying to write my Shaklee newsletter, and it wasn't going anywhere. I just couldn't get the idea that I wanted. I couldn't get any clarity in my mind. It was a rainy, blustery, cold day here in Anacortes. Not cold like it gets other places, but for here it was cold, maybe in the 30s. The rain was pouring down. I was sitting on my couch with my computer on my lap, wrapped up in my alfalfa blanket, and the ideas were just not coming. And I thought, you know what, I really need to get this newsletter done. I was on my deadline, and I, wasn't going anywhere. And suddenly it came into my mind, hey, maybe these energy chews will clear up my mind for me and make me feel a little peppier and make my brain cells work. So I went into the cupboard and I got out my package. It's not this package, it was a little sample package, a smaller package. And I got out my energy chew and chewed it up, had no idea what it tasted like, actually fell in love with the way it tasted. And then didn't think much more about it and sat there and got some ideas and started writing my newsletter. And I got it done pretty fast. It was pretty good. I sent it out by email, and then went out for a walk. And it's a pretty good day. You can walk in the rain. And here everybody does. They gotta, right? And so I went for my walk. I cooked supper, made kind of a cool meal. Don't remember what it was, just that it was pretty good. And then I decided to work on some paperwork. Now, paperwork and I don't get along very well, but I had already done everything else I needed to do that day. So I started doing paperwork, sorted out a bunch of stuff with that, did some online things that I needed to get done. It was 10 o'clock at night. I'm still going strong. I'm thinking, well, maybe I should get started on tomorrow's supper. 11 o'clock comes and I'm still going strong, and it had been since 10 o'clock in the morning. And I went in and I thought, this is the time past which I should not be going to bed. I need to go to bed before this hour, so I might as well go to bed. Now, why is it that people go to bed? I can't really remember why people go to bed, because I felt very, very lively. And that was my first exposure to energy chews. Now, I have to say that yesterday I did something fairly similar. Between 12 and 1, I took my energy chews. And at midnight, I was still perking away. Now, the thing for me is that if I take something that's a stimulant, it tends to make me feel real jagged, just rough. Maybe energetic, but not comfortable. But this was just like smooth sailing, very satiny, kind of pleasant, silky kind of feeling of high energy, getting a lot done without being the least bit stressed about it, really without noticing that I was getting a great deal done. So that was really nice. That was the first time. That was also yesterday, and I've used it other times in between. Now, my husband John was having to drive a car, one of our cars, from Salt Lake City to Anacortes, Washington, which is 925 miles by the time you get to our house. And he had to do that by himself. And I told him I would check in with him by phone and see how he was doing, keep him awake as he went through Eastern Oregon, which is not necessarily fascinating. And it's a long ride. And he was doing fine. He was still doing fine. He was still doing fine. He had his energy chews first thing in the morning. And that day he drove about 750 miles, closer to 800, I think it was. And he was getting pretty close to going over the mountains and coming up to to Seattle and coming up to where we live. And that was the Effective Energy Chews. Now, the package says, here on the back, it says it's got a whole bunch of B vitamins in it, and I suppose they're responsible for the energy. And it's got some amino acids and stuff like that in there. And I don't know, I was looking at those one day, and then I noticed this strange thing. And that is up here, if you can see it, it says serving size, 2 chews. Well, all that happened on 1 chew. We didn't know we were supposed to take 2. So I still have quite a few in my package for rainy days. And this is my new favorite product. I've got a bunch of old favorite products, but this is my new favorite product.